Thank you for joining us for a radio.com check-in. We are joined by Lindsey Sterling. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? I love the hair, by the way. The purple's so fun.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm good. Luju Now is the new single. It is so incredible, and it's touched so many people, and it's resonating with a lot of them. Have you gotten a lot of people kind of reaching out to you and saying in a way that the song has maybe helped them?
Yeah, it's been a really sweet experience to release this song, after losing several people in my life that I just loved so much. And that was years ago for me, but it was almost kind of cathartic once again to kind of open up those feelings and
Yeah.
see just how present they were for me, and then to see how real it was for my fans. Like, all my fans were posting photos and videos of like people that they'd lost that they loved, and it just kind of felt like this kind of community healing as we all not like exposed our sadness, but we got to like share like, this was my dad and he was amazing, and like look at photos of him, and people were like, this was my brother and he passed, so it was like this kind of celebration of the people we lost, and it was a really beautiful thing.
Oh, I love that you called it community healing. Like I really like that because it just reminds me of like, when you're a fan of something or you do an activity, like say you join a yoga studio and you don't realize like those people around you become people you lean on for things that
Mm.
you have in common. And it's so incredible that music can do that.
Absolutely. And I think right now everybody's like craving more so than ever, like a sense of community, like we don't get to connect in the same ways we used to. And I know myself, like I crave it. And so it was really cool to find that in a whole different way than I thought, I've ever experienced before.
Yeah. And did it end up being therapeutic for you as well?
Absolutely. Yes. I felt this huge amount of like just emotions I hadn't felt in a while, which is always hard to go through. But then at the same time, it's so like, it's like this release, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that had been, that had built up once again inside of me. And I got to like share it and release it in a very like positive and healthy way.
Yeah, and it's such a great music video. It's so theatrical. It's so cool. I loved everything about it. When did you initially decide where you wanted to take this song visually?
I a lot of times if I haven't come up with a music video idea like sometimes it's prior to the song being written that I'll think of the idea, or it's while I'm writing it. And if I haven't thought of an idea yet, I'll just like listen to it over and over and over again. And it's like, what do I see? What do I feel? And that's kind of the case with this one. And I loved the idea of like this giant bag and like carrying all these memories in this bag. Like, as if that was what was keeping me connected to the people I'd lost. But then, of course, in the end, she realizes it's not the things that are keeping her close. It's like the fact that like they'll always be with us, like in our hearts and our spirits. And, it's so much bigger than just like the knickknacks that I do keep, from the people I've lost.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's gotten a lot of attraction on you on TikTok with like people paralleling the video and making their own kind of take with it. Have you had a favorite one that you've seen?
I mean, I think I recently saw a sign language video to it, which was beautiful. I
Yeah,
loved,
it was so cool.
yes, that was so cool. And I love the reaction videos to this one. Like, reaction stuff is so fun and all the time, but there's like a moment in the video where like these angel wings come out from behind me, and watching people watch that moment was really powerful because I'd literally see their face change every time, and just it was like a moment for everybody. And so I think those were my favorites, for just the reaction videos.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know. I felt like that when I watched the music video because through watching it, my eyes got big, I got chills, like I got teary eyed, and yeah, I feel like it must be amazing for you seeing that it means to people what it meant for you as well.
Absolutely, because you watch something so many times, and like I edited the video, and so it's like you start to see it in a different way, and you wonder, is it going to have the impact? Like, I've watched this like, 1,000 times at that point, and it was so cool to be like, oh my gosh, it does. It means something to somebody.
Yeah, and can you kind of explain like the revolution of this song because it evolved from Guardian off of Artemis, right?
Yeah. So it was a song that I had written for Artemis that was an instrumental song. And, I feel like I've tried to write words about this concept several times, and it always came across super cheesy or not. And I just could never capture in words this feeling. And so I released Guardian as an instrumental because I was like, you know what? I'm better at just expressing emotions sometimes through my violin. And so then Mako, you know, was given the song and he was so inspired by it. And he said that it was almost like this download of the song. And he's like, it just came to me super fast. And so I think that it's really beautiful that the same thing that this song is about is kind of like this idea that we're never alone and that we can always be inspired and feel love from our angels. And that's kind of how the song came about. He's like, I swear the song came from somewhere else. It just like downloaded into me. And so I was like, you know, my dad was a writer. My best friend Gavi, who passed away, was a writer as well. And I just can't help but think that they had a hand in like giving that download.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, yeah, and it kind of pairs up with that feeling of it being like a community help song where like, you know, he took his part in it and it helped him in a way. So that's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah. So on a later note, you plan on touring this summer, right?
I plan on it. I sure hope I get to.
So you're going to be doing like an amphitheater show. What is a way that you plan on doing that with everything going on? Are you going to be doing things a little differently, or with it being outside, is that just how you're going to kind of roll with it?
You know, I think it's all so up in the air at this point. You know, we won't do it if it's not safe and if it's not smart to do so. And I think that'll just depends on a vaccine. And I'm sure that, you know, there's going to be so many like new stipulations. I don't think touring or a lot of the arts will be the same for a really long time. But I do think we're all at this point where it's like, whatever I have to do, like I'll do it. You know, like if you say I have to do half capacity and do 2 shows in one day, okay, you know, it's like I think a lot of artists and a lot of people are just kind of down, you know, things that probably would have made us all be like, are you kidding me? Like 2 years ago. It's like right now we'll take it. It just, everybody wants to go out, and I know my crew is just chomping at the bit to like go out and be together and perform. So fingers crossed, we're ready to do what we got to do.
Yeah, and you're still like doing all the plans for it. I'm sure you're making a fun production of it. Is there anything we can know about this tour?
You know, we did the Artemis tour. You know, we were going to do it last year, so we had a lot of the production done, and I'm hoping, budget pending, we'll be able to keep it because it was such a fun production. Yeah. Like we had this, you know, this giant moon that kind of represented the Artemis story, and it was, I don't know, I love production. I love all the things, the glitz, the glam, the costumes. Like I love it all so much. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we get to like keep all the fun toys, but you know, then I have to remind myself that's not what it's all about. You know, it's not about the fun toys. It's not like the audience isn't going to like leave wanting more if I don't have the giant moon, you know, like it's okay. So while I'm being optimistic and hoping I get to keep all my things, I'm like prepping that, you know, it might have to look different.
Yeah. And I think people are going to be so excited to see you either way.
Exactly. Right. And that's what my manager reminds me, that she's like, people are just going to be excited. The same way you're excited to go out, people will be excited to be there. It's like, okay.
Moon or not.
Moon or not. Cause you know, as a performer, you just really like, I just really want everyone to leave being like, that was like amazing. You know, you want them to leave feeling like, I am so glad I bought my ticket, you know? That's what you always hope. So like, I know all artists, we try so hard to just make it a magical experience. But then, like I said, the magic often isn't in what we always think the magic is in. It's literally in like the connection you feel with the audience. And that can be done anywhere with anything.
I think it's going to be such an emotional experience for people first concert back in over a year. Like you're going to get a good response no matter what.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be so special and so, you know, again, like just cathartic for people to be like, here we go.
Yes. Well, before we go, is there anything else that you're working on right now? Anything else that's coming up next?
You know, that's always such a good question. And to be honest, right now, the answer is like, I kind of have nothing. I'm trying to figure out my next step, you know? I think this year hit a lot of people like by surprise. And like, I love it when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. But yeah, right now the answer is I'm trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what's next for me. And I think so many people feel like that. So it gives me a little bit of comfort to be like, well, I'm not alone in this feeling.
No, and you have things coming up next. You just put out this song and music video and
You're so sweet.
Okay, so yes, you do have things.
You are so sweet. And I really appreciate that validation. And, you know, I think we're all going to just have to like figure it out step by step and we need to just remember the things that we do have, you know, like you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lindsey, thank you so much for talking to us at radio.com. And hopefully I will be able to see you this summer.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.